Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all, and thanks for joining our breakout. I'm truly delighted to introduce Sam Simpson, a member of the UNH class of 2024. She's working toward a degree in environmental conservation and sustainability. Sam impressed us from the beginning, even the interview process, with her passion for place and her interest in New Hampshire communities. One of her outlets during the days of COVID isolation was to get to know her home state by getting in her car and driving to a new town just to see what it was like and what made it special. In the spring, she dipped her toe in the waters of geographic information systems through an intro to GIS class. And with this fellowship, she dove in headfirst and became a GIS whiz. She even found a data layer on Granite, which is New Hampshire's statewide GIS repository, that exactly fit our project's needs. Sam's been a joy to work with. We're certain that she will have a bright future. And Bridget Beckwith from BEA and I are delighted to say thank you, Sam. Great work. And we're eager to hear your side of the story. So take it away, Sam.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and hi, everybody. So this summer, I worked to create a digital map layer of New Hampshire's economic revitalization zones. These are areas associated with tax incentives for businesses meant to encourage economic development and strengthen the communities around them. There are about 233 of these zones in New Hampshire, though the number has fluctuated throughout the summer, as some are added or opted out. I have now digitally recreated over 220 of these zones. Oh wait, I'm sorry, could you go to the slide, the next? Thank you. So I've now digitally recreated over 220 of these zones, a little different than when I made this slide, by referencing existing paper maps. So on this slide, you can see one of these zones. The original scan of the paper map is shown in the top left, and a few of the various existing data layers that I look at to match up features are shown on the right. I also worked this summer to find a way to identify downtown Main Street and Village Center areas in New Hampshire with the intent to then map these out. Instead, I came across an existing data layer showing community center areas that I then analyzed against the initial criteria that I developed with the CDFA and found that it suited the needs of our project. Next slide, please. In each aspect of this work, the intention is to find data that is representative and accurate across New Hampshire. With the state full of smaller and rural towns, not every municipality has the capacity or facilities to build digital resources. My work involved creating a tool that organizations in towns throughout the state can access, regardless of individual capacity. Tools that can be used in a larger context remove the barriers that are presented to areas with fewer resources. These tools become crucial to planning, preservation and development, sustaining communities, and much more. The map shown here exemplifies the prevalence of these smaller towns, with the majority of townships having less than 10,000 residents and many with much fewer. With less reason, incentive, or resources, these smaller areas often haven't gone digital yet or established their own planning departments. This is removed as a barrier to accessing this type of information when it's approached from a statewide level. Next slide, please. And as the summer comes to an end, my work will be handed over to the BEA to be finalized on the economic recovery revitalization zones and eventually published for use within the organization and ultimately the community. This summer has been a really valuable experience for me. I've learned so much about economic and community development and how much effort and process is involved in building lasting communities. I've also been able to get more comfortable using GIS and honing my capabilities there. I've gotten the opportunity to meet so many incredible people across New Hampshire, and it's been a very eye-opening experience to learn what kind of local impacts people can have. I'd like to thank the CDFA, the BEA, my mentors, Kevin and Bridget, the UNH Sustainability Institute, and all of my fellow fellows for this incredible experience this summer. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam, for a great presentation to kick off our session here on data analytics. So everyone, I encourage you all to submit questions through the chat, but I've also got a question for Sam to start us off. So since you've done this summer project now, digitizing maps, what would you recommend for other communities interested in digitizing their written map collection? What's a good place to start?
That's a good question. I guess it would depend on what the maps are for. So if it's a town specific thing, then building those resources within a town probably is a good idea. But if it's something that can be found in multiple towns, then I think a statewide effort would be a good place to start. So maybe building that kind of network to start something larger.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And then what are some of the intended uses of the maps that you've digitized? Because you've done over 210 maps that are going to be available throughout the state now. And how do you all hope these might be used?
So it'll be a lot easier to see where these economic revitalization zones are. So when businesses or like they want to come into an area, they can see where tax incentives might be a good place to start when determining their location. And they can, the way that the incentives work is that they end up kind of giving their tax money to the community through the grapevine of how money goes. And so they're able to kind of choose where they want their money to go rather than it just going into the pool of the state. So it's just giving back to the community through building the community.